Welcome! Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the hidden science that shapes pretty much every single purchase you make. It's that invisible force in every store, on every website, that kind of nudges you from just browsing to actually buying something. So, let's get into it and explore the fascinating world of merchandising.
So think about it. You walk into a store and boom, the one thing you needed is right there. It's easy to find, maybe it's even on sale. Or you're just scrolling online and the perfect product just seems to pop up out of nowhere. You ever wonder, was that just a happy accident, a little stroke of luck? Or was it all part of a plan? Well, the answer is merchandising. That's the grand strategy behind it all. Think of it like this. Merchandising is everything from a supermarket deciding which brand of cereal to even carry to exactly where on the shelf it's going to live. It's both an art and a science, and it's the reason your shopping trips are almost never left to pure chance. Okay, so who are these masterminds making all these decisions? It's not just one kind of company. The world of merchandising actually has a few key players, and each one has a really specific job in getting products from a factory into your hands. Let's break down who they are. Generally, you can think of them in three big buckets. You've got your classic retail stores, the ones you can actually walk into. Then you have the huge wholesalers working behind the scenes. And of course, there are the e-commerce platforms that we all spend so much time browsing. This chart really makes the whole process clear. See the wholesaler right there in the middle? They are the powerhouse middlemen. They buy products in enormous bulk, which gives them incredible negotiating power. This matters because it allows smaller retail shops to stock all sorts of different products without having to manage relationships with hundreds of different manufacturers. This hidden layer is exactly what makes that huge selection you see in a store possible. All right, so we know who the players are, but what's their goal? What's the mission? It really all boils down to something that sounds simple but is actually incredibly difficult: getting the right product to the right place at exactly the right time and for the right price. I mean, think about selling winter coats. If you stock them in July, nobody's buying. But if you wait until January, you've already missed the biggest part of the season. It's a real balancing act.
And they accomplish this mission through a cycle that's always in motion. First, merchandisers are like detectives. They're analyzing tons of data to figure out what you, the consumer, actually want to buy. Then they go out and purchase all that inventory. Next comes that super important step of pricing everything just right. It has to be competitive, but it also has to be profitable. Finally, they handle all the logistics to get those products onto the shelves. And here's the cool part. As soon as a product is for sale, the data collection begins all over again, feeding right back into step one. It's a constant loop of learning and adapting.
Now, let's be clear. This isn't just about making your shopping trip easy and convenient. At its core, merchandising is all about the money. It's where all that strategy meets the company's financial statements. And honestly, it can make or break a business. And this is the key takeaway right here. Every single decision has a direct financial impact. Think about a fashion retailer that orders way too many of some trendy new item. If that trend dies out fast, they could lose millions of dollars having to sell it all on clearance. The stakes are really, really high. We see this financial impact in a few key places. Inventory management is a huge one. If you buy too much, you're just tying up money in stuff that's not selling. But if you buy too little, you're losing out on sales. This directly impacts something called the cost of goods sold, or CGS. That's basically the line on an income statement that says, this is how much we paid for all the stuff we sold. Keeping that cost down is vital. And of course, the pricing strategy is what turns all of that into actual profit. And that's really the end game. When merchandising is done well, it creates this perfect cycle. Customers are happy because they can find what they want, and the business makes a profit and has healthy cash flow to keep things going. It's truly the engine that powers the whole retail machine. So, the next time you're shopping, I want you to look around with new eyes. Ask yourself, why is the milk always at the very back of the store? And why are all those tempting little snacks and candies right there by the checkout counter? It's not an accident. Now that you know the strategy that's happening behind the scenes, can you start to spot the tactics in action?